All right, so let's start in downward facing Shavasana today. So just coming onto your belly, and you can negotiate this a couple ways. You can make a pillow with your hands, turn onto one cheek or the other. You might rest on your forehead, arms by your side. If this feels a little intense, you could always grab a blanket and just rest your head there. So just finding a place where you feel fairly comfortable laying on your belly. Welcome, Susie. And then you can like play with your legs. Maybe you want to take them a little wider. It's fine if the heels roll in towards each other. So sort of just let your body do what it wants to do here. And then go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth. Sigh the breath out. Let it go. Ha. Good. Couple more times like that. So kind of landing in our weekend here. Anything that's been stressing you out thus far this week, let it go. It may return later, but for this next hour, you get to take care of yourself. You get to check in, slow down, quiet down, and also move. Build some strength and flexibility. Connect with your breath. You're eventually finding that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath, that inhale through your nose and that exhale through your nose. As you lay here, just notice if any tension creeps into your body. So you're trying to relax as much as possible. But the shoulders love to grip. Sometimes the fingers and the toes like to grip. So relax into the extremities. Make sure your face and jaw is nice and soft. If you have your cheek turned to one side, just go ahead and turn to the other side and notice how that feels. Might feel a little stiffer. Might be about the same. Good. And then you're going to go ahead and take your arms out in an airplane shape, and you can just land on your forehead. If your legs are a little wider, go ahead and bring them a little bit closer here. And we're just going to get into the shoulders a little bit here. So you're going to bend your right elbow so you can come up onto those right fingertips. And then you're going to flip onto your left ear. And depending upon how tight your shoulders are, you can keep that left arm perpendicular. You might need to angle it down to like 45 degrees. So just see what you need here. And then we're going to start to roll onto that left side, and you're going to flip that right leg up and over. So kind of a little, almost like Dhanurasana here, a little back bend. You're going to feel a stretch potentially in that right hip flexor. Certainly in that left shoulder, in the neck. I'm even getting a little sensation in the lower back. So just see what's going on for you and keep breathing here. You are welcome to extend your right arm up and then just kind of lean that shoulder back. And that will intensify things a little bit. Keep that breath going, that inhale through the nose, that exhale through the nose. Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind. Come back to center, and then we take that second side. So you're going to extend your right arm out perpendicular. Maybe you're going to angle it down. That's going to take a little pressure off the shoulder as we come into the flip. Bend your left elbow, Bring it in, come up under those fingertips, and then you're landing on that right ear, flipping your left leg up and over. So pinning that right shoulder down, try to press that left shoulder back even with it so shoulders are stacking on top of each other. Just notice where you're getting sensation. Direct your tailbone down towards your heels so you're keeping this nice long line. You're feeling really tall. And then if you wanted to extend that left arm up, lean back a little. That might just intensify the stretch that you're feeling in the neck, in the shoulder. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind here, and then let's find our Sphinx pose. It's just a gentle back bend. So you're landing on your forearms, shoulders over your elbows, root down into the forearms, and then you can kind of like slide your elbows back. Your hands are staying where they're at, but it might give you a little more lift. Check in with your legs again. Are they splayed out a little wider than hips distance apart? Bring them a little closer. Really press down actively into all 10 toenails. And then that breath is smooth and steady. Let's just bring our gaze out over our right shoulder. So feel a little stretch in the neck. And you just go as far as feels good in your body this morning. So especially in these morning practices, you know, it takes a little longer for the body to wake up. So be patient with that, respect that. Good, come back to center. And then as you exhale, look out over that left shoulder. Keep pressing down into your toes. Legs are really active here. Glutes are engaging. Inner thighs spiraling up towards the ceiling as your tailbone releases towards your heels. And then come back to center. Let's lower on down. Release your arms by your side. Feet keep doing the same things. Just have your palms facing in towards each other. Lifting the shoulder heads up. As you inhale, anchoring into the lower body, extend your chest forward and up. And then let's stay here like this and just find a little flow with the arms. So as you inhale, take the arms out like airplane wings. And then as you exhale, pull back. So just getting into that shoulder, girdle, arm socket a little bit. Trying to keep the shoulder heads lifting in both positions. And maybe you have to come out of the back bend a little bit. So that's fine too. Couple more. Good. So let's stretch the arms up overhead as we inhale. Maybe lift the feet. And then we're going to bend the elbows, fingertips underneath shoulder heads, place the feet back down, moving into our Bhujangasana low cobra. So as you exhale, roll on down. Inhale, come on up. Squeeze those elbows in towards each other. That's going to help you find the shoulder lifting as well. Exhale, lower. Good. Inhale, lengthen forward and up. Exhale, lower down. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Inhale up here. And then from here, let's press back to nice little child's pose. And we've been doing a lot of back bending. So you're going to kind of have to ease your way into this. You might even want to take your knees a little wider, kind of waggle the hips back and forth just to release out that lumbar. But eventually finding this child's pose, maybe resting your head on your mat or a block or your hands stacked on top of each other. Listening to that sound of your breath again, finding that, letting it feel really good. It's the soundtrack for our yoga practice. It's really what weaves all of the poses together. And we lose it, that's okay, but we always remind ourselves to come back to that piece. Little twist here, start to walk your arms off to the right. So landing over that right thigh, spinning left ribs in that direction. You can think downward facing dog arms here. So arms really active, your forearms are lifting up off the mat. Muscle is firming to bone. And then we come back to center. And we walk our hands off to the left, to the right rather. No, to the left. What side am I on? I always switch on my side, so I never know what side I'm doing. Oh, the hazards of teaching yoga. You no longer know left and right and inhale and exhale. Especially on a Saturday morning when the coffee hasn't hit quite yet. All right, walk back to center. Come on up to your tabletop position. Few rounds of your cat-cow here. So shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. As you inhale, find that arch. Chest comes forward. Think of that cobra pose here in the upper body. And then as we exhale, we move in the opposite direction. So you're thinking a little child's pose in the lumbar. And then continuing like this. Just finding a nice, happy, gentle spring pace. You're not too fast, you're not too slow. You're just mostly concentrating on letting this feel really good in your body. And then let's create a little core stabilization here. So we're going to come into our bird dog. So go ahead and inhale, come back to neutral spine. It's helpful to keep your gaze an inch or two in front of you. As you inhale, right leg, left arm, reach and extend. Keep hip squeezing in. Exhale, release down. Nice, Susie. Inhale, left leg, right arm. See how long you can get. Exhale, release. So let's do 4 more to each side. Again, just finding your pace, finding your rhythm. Lengthening out. You can feel your lower belly pull in and up a little bit. Just giving you some stability. Outer hips squeezing in towards each other is also really helpful. And then, of course, always just listening to that sound of your breath. It's your little metronome here. And you can think of our yoga practices, our little symphony. We're just doing some warm-ups, some etudes, moving with that metronome. All right. So let's say the next time you've got that right leg, left arm extended, stay there. Pull your shoulders down your back. Feel them squeeze in towards each other. Hello, Susie's child. I can't tell which one. Good, and then bend that right knee. Reach back with your left hand, find that foot, kick the foot into your hand. So this is similar to that little twist that we did on our bellies. Gets a little deeper into that quadricep. Definitely a little balance pose here as well. And of course, you can always be skipping this. Inhale, lengthen back out, nice and graceful. And then exhale, release down. All right, here we go. Inhale, left leg, right arm. See how long you can get. Engage your core. So belly button pulls towards those back ribs. Bend your left knee. Reach around with your right hand. Find the foot. And then kick back. Find a little twist, little back bend. Press that right shoulder head back a lot so you're getting a nice little stretch and opening there. Gracefully, inhale, stretch back out. And then as you exhale, you release down. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches, spread your fingers, curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. Take a moment here. See what your body needs. You can fidget a little. Some days it just feels really good to come into a place of stillness. You can make little adjustments. So you want to make sure that your feet are about hips distance apart, second and third toe pointing forward. It's almost like that inner heel is hiding behind your toes. You can peek forward between your hands. Make sure arms are about shoulders distance apart. And the fingers are spreading a little bit here. And then you're pressing down. And then eventually the head just releases. So you're gazing between your feet. Your ears are in line with your biceps. Let's inhale, shift forward into our plank here. Good, come to your knees. Exhale, elbows bend. Keep the shoulder heads lifted. Lower onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, press to tabletop, curl toes under. Downward facing dog, stretching sit bones up, even if you have a bend in your knees. Sometimes we need that bend in our knees to help us find it. Good, one more like that. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Come to knees, lower halfway. Good, onto your belly. And then inhale, low cobra, legs really active. Hands and knees, curl toes under, downward facing dog. Nice deep inhale through your nose. And open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. Let's start to walk our hands back to meet our feet. As you inhale, chest extends forward here. Exhale, fold in. Pressing into your feet, root down to rise up. Take up lots of space as you get there. And then as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. And we start to flow a little bit. As you inhale, arms reach out and up. Utthita Hastasana into Dasana. As you exhale, you hinge forward, fold in. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, folding. Pressing down into your feet, stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. 2 more on your own, just moving with your breath. Let these feel so good. So inhale, you stretch up. As you exhale, fold in, gorgeous work. Good, and then you're off and on your own, moving with your breath. If you're good at these, you can close your eyes. Again, that just helps you to draw inward a little bit. So finding space in your body, finding this sense of ease. Really beautiful, Susie. There's no rush. And if you're like me, maybe you just can't help yourself. You just start to smile whenever you do these. It's kind of like playing your favorite song on repeat. All right, so we're gonna add on here. So we're at the back of our mat. Just taking a few breaths in our mountain pose, standing really tall. Sometimes a tendency here is to stick the booty back, puff the front ribs forward. So direct your tailbone down, lengthen the sternum up. And of course, there's natural curves in our spine and our body. That's good, but we want to be standing really tall here. All right, here we go. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. As we exhale, we hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, lengthen. So from here, as you exhale, you're just going to walk forward into your downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths. And then we're going to inhale, lift our right leg up. As you exhale, step that foot through, land on your left knee. So you're set up for your low crescent pose. And let's actually hang out here for a couple of breaths. So the more flexible you are in your hip flexors, the more you can slide that left knee back. Some of us are actually going to grab blocks here or books. You can do any kind of makeshift prop if you're watching this at home on YouTube. So this is just going to bring the floor closer. It gives you a little bit of space. And keep that breath moving nice and even. Use the exhale especially. Send it to the front of this left hip. Just imagine that it's creating a little space, a little ease. Good, and then from here, we're gonna pull back. So coming into our Ardha Hanumanasana, our half splits. So the hips are landing over this left knee. And again, blocks can be really helpful here. If you're super tight, you're gonna be pretty upright. Your hands might not even be resting on anything, or you might be near a wall if you're noticing that this is a balanced pose. If you're a little more open, you really flex these right toes, and then perhaps you take a little forward fold. Keep a little sensation of cobra pose in your upper body. So we're not rounding in to get lower. It's more like we're just melting our chest down towards that thigh. Of course, this sensation transfers into the back of the leg, that hamstring muscle, which is this really big muscle that for a lot of us is really tight. So take little adjustments if you need to. Good. So we're going to rock forward here and then heel toe your right foot to the right a little bit. And we're going to come into our little lizard pose. So landing on your hands. And let's go ahead. You can turn those right toes out a little bit, but I want you to keep pressing to the inner edge of the foot. So squeezing that knee. You can even kind of squeeze it into your arm. We're going to hang here for a couple of breaths. If this is easier in your body, perhaps you bring forearms onto a block or even the floor. Keep lengthening back through that left heel. Keep your gaze slightly forward. Good. And then finally here, if it feels okay in your body, and you're going to have to play with this to see, you can roll a little bit to the outer edge of the foot and it kind of just gets in to the inseam of that upper inner thigh. So see what you think, check it out. And of course, if you go someplace and it feels like you can barely hang on, you've gone too deep, so you do a little less. All right, so come back, 2 palms if you're not there already. Heel toe this right foot in. So legs are about hip distance apart. As we inhale, we rise on up, Anjali-asana. Let's find a little side stretch here. So right fingertips come to that left wrist. Exhale, lean to the right. Squeeze this right hip in a lot. And then find that length. Maybe you start to gaze up underneath that left arm. Beautiful, beautiful work. As we inhale, we upright ourselves. And then as we exhale, let's plant the palms. So just bring this right knee back. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, shift forward, lower, halfway pause. Exhale the rest of the breath out as you lower down, pressing to the tops of the feet. Inhale, low cobra. As you exhale, press to your tabletop. Curl your toes under. Downward facing dog. All right, so as we inhale, we're gonna lift our left leg up. Exhale, step that foot through. So we find this little sequence again. If you're more flexible, you slide that right knee further back. If that right knee is tender, you can always double up your mat, slide a little blanket under there. All right, but you're finding that place where you're getting a stretch. For some of us, we're gonna be pretty upright, perhaps even on blocks. So you're not cheating, you're actually doing the yoga. Don't think you're not if that's you. And then breathing nice and steady, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose, and know that this is intense. So try to smile a little bit. Barring that, just make sure that your face and jaw is soft and relaxed. Again, check in with your fingers and toes. Are you gripping there? So it's funny, all of these little things that our body does, and we're almost like not even aware of it. Good. And you're also just noticing here, how does this side feel different? Is it different? Okay, so we start to pull back into our half splits. So take the blocks with you if you have them. Pull this left hip back. So we're trying to get the hip bones to face forward. Flexing this foot if you're a little more flexible. That's going to intensify things. And then you can also find a little forward fold here. Breath smooth and steady. So kind of just finding some nice longer holds today. That can feel good sometimes. In many ways, it's challenging. I think a little of both, a little flow, a little hold is good. It kind of keeps the practice nice and well-rounded. Couple more good breaths here in your half splits, your Ardha Hanumanasana. All right, so we rock forward, and then we're gonna heel toe that left foot off to the left. You can angle those toes out, and then melting in again. So getting into the hip flexor, but then also getting into this left groin area. So initially keep trying to squeeze that left knee in, so pressing to the inner edge of that foot. And again, you're welcome to come down lower if this isn't, if you're not at your max here. Most of us probably are. Kind of depends on the days sometimes, what you've been doing. And if you're lowering down onto your forearms, keep reaching back nice and long through those right toes. And then just think sternum lengthening forward too. So again, we don't want to drop down, round in. We want to keep that integrity of the spine. Lizard pose hurts so good. Roll to the outer edge of that left foot. As some of you may know, I have, I call him a lizard. He's an amphibian. We have a salamander that lives in our window well downstairs. He hibernates during the winter, but his tail made a sighting the other day, which is crazy because it was like 30 degrees out in the morning, but it was moving. He looked skinny, like he needs to eat, but you can't imagine how much happiness this brings me, knowing that our little salamander, Sammy, made it through another winter. All right, so you're making your way out, heel, toe, that left foot in a little bit, so you're about hips distance apart. So little things in life, it's a little lizard sightings. As you inhale, arms reach out and up, it's springtime happening again after a long winter. All right, and then we find this lateral stretch here. So left fingertips to that right wrist, lean off to the left, maybe gazing up underneath that top arm, feeling the outer hips squeeze in towards each other, shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. Breath smooth and steady. Good, inhale up to center, maybe gaze up, maybe press palms together. As you exhale, hands come down, left knee back, take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, shift forward, keep the belly lifted, elbows bend, elbows squeeze in onto your belly. So you're always pausing it halfway there, tops of the feet press. Inhale, low cobra. As you exhale, pull back, downward facing dog. Nice deep inhale here. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, ha. And then just look forward, little bend in your knees. So you're gonna walk your feet forward, or you're gonna step your right foot forward, then your left foot forward to meet it. So here we are at the top of the mat. As you inhale, chest extends forward. As you exhale, fold in. Good, inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. Beautiful. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. If you do have blocks, have them at the top of your mats. We might need those eventually. If you don't worry about it. There's other ways to modify. As you inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. And let's keep our right foot forward, step that left foot way back. Again, make sure you're not on a tightrope. This time we rise up, full crescent pose. Good, so again, outer hips squeeze in towards each other. Good, you're directing your tailbone down as you stretch your sternum up, and then let's open up the front of the body here. So make fists with your hands. As you exhale, pull down, elbow squeeze in. Good, and then inhale like you're moving through thick mud, press up. Exhale, pulling down. Good work. Inhale, press up. Exhale, pulling down. Beautiful work. Inhale, we press up. Let's do that lateral stretch again. Right fingertips to left wrist. Lean off to the right. So fire up that back leg a lot. Maybe see if you can bend into the right knee a little more. Good. As you inhale, come up to center. Exhale, hands come down. Keep your gaze forward, keep your hips as slow. Step to your full plank pose. Just an inhale here. And then exhale, knees lower. You lower to halfway pause, and then let the rest of the air out as you lower onto your belly. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. So make sure you're not on a tightrope. All right, and as you come up, a little bend in that back knee sometimes can be helpful too. It helps you to find a little more space and ease in these hip flexors. And then you can start to straighten if that feels okay. All right, again, so making fists with your hands, firm up the muscles in your arms as you exhale. Pull down, and it feels like you're gonna try to touch those elbows together. Inhale up, so just opening up the front of the body here. Exhale, pull down. Inhaling up. Nice work. As you exhale, pull down. One more. Inhale up. Release your fists, and then left fingertips to right wrist. Start to lean off to the right. Counter that by squeezing this left glute in. Feel that nice stretch. It kind of gets into the lower right waist. You're feeling it through the entire leg there. Good. Inhale. Upright yourself. Press palms, gaze up. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot at the top of the mat. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, folding in. Pressing down into your feet. Stretching arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right. As we inhale, arms reach out and up. As we exhale, we hinge forward, fold in. Good. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. This time, keep that left foot forward. All right, step that right foot back. And I want you to spin into the back edge of that right foot. And then this is where you might want to have blocks. So your feet are still about hip distance apart. We're going to start to drag this left hip back as we begin to firm the muscles above that knee. So we bring that leg to straight. So finding our little pyramid pose here. So blocks can be really nice. You could even have your fingertips on a couch in front of you. Press to the inner edge of this left foot as you reach back through this left sit bone, and then you're sealing into the back edge of that right foot. So intense hamstring stretch here. So just this nice long-legged pyramid pose. If you're a little more open, you might fold in a little deeper. Keep that breath moving. Good, and then let's bring our hands to our hips here, elbows squeeze in, so you're kind of in that half forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet to rise on up. Let's keep this back heel down. So with your hands on your hips here, kind of direct that right hip forward. As you exhale, bend that right knee. It's a little harder with that back foot flat. Inhale, arms reach up, Virabhadrasana 1, first warrior. Good. And then let's actually take this into little forward fold here. So as you exhale, release your arms behind you, interlace your fingers. Let's take the left thumb on top. Inhale, heart reaches. And then as you exhale, fold in any amount. Let the neck lengthen and release. If you're a little more open in your shoulders, you start to direct your wrists forward. Maybe even pressing your palms together. Yeah. So just folding in here, humble warrior. And this is intense. It's definitely a little balance pose. Take your feet wider if you need to. And then pressing strongly into your feet. Keep that deep bend in your left knee as you inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Gorgeous. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. So your choice this time. We're pretty warm. If you just want to step back to your downward facing dog, you're welcome to. If you want to take that little modified chaturanga vinyasa, you step back to plank. Exhale, lower to knees, come down halfway, and then all the way down. Inhaling into your low cobra. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. So we're keeping our stance this wide. Might find your blocks again. Spin into the back edge of your left foot. So those left toes are pointing towards the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Good. And then as you continue to seal there, start to straighten this right leg. So you're pulling this right hip back. You're trying to keep both hips facing the same direction. So what happens here is that left hip wants to pull back, drive it forward, and instead pull the right hip back. Ooh, pyramid pose. It's a doozy. So big hamstring stretch. And you can always take a little bend in your knee, that right knee if you need to. That's absolutely fine. If you're more flexible, of course, you're thinking that idea of our half splits. This is basically that, just a different configuration. So you're kind of just melting your belly down on that thigh, but thinking a little cobra pose in your upper body. Breath smooth and steady. All right, so if you're folded in, inhale up halfway, hands to hips, elbows squeeze in. So you're just finding this little half forward fold in our pyramid pose. Inhale, rise on up. And then maybe you do need to go a little wider with your stance as we come into our Virabhadrasana one. So we're gonna keep driving this left hip forward. Deep inhale. Exhale. Sink into that right knee. It's so much harder in this configuration than in our crescent pose, but you just do the best you can. Stretch your arms up. Beautiful work. And then as we exhale, we release our arms behind us. We take that right index and thumb on top. Inhale, heart reaches. And then exhale, bow in any amount. Definitely a balanced pose. Walk that right foot to the right if you need to. And then you're extending your wrists forward any amount. You're letting the back of your neck lengthen and release so you don't have to hold the head here. It's hard to let it go. Do your best. Keep that back leg really strong and active. Keep bending into that right knee as much as feels good in your body. Good, and then from here we inhale. Rise on up, Virabhadrasana one. Maybe press palms up overhead. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Spin onto your left toes, take an inhale here. And then exhale, step your left foot to meet your right foot. As you inhale, chest lengthens. As you exhale, fold in. Inhale, press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right. So just classic sun salute here. We are going to inhale, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. And you're going to bend your knees, plant your palms. Let's just step our right foot way back, then our left foot. Inhale, right leg lifts. Good, exhale, step that foot through, land onto your left knee again. And you can pad up the knee if you want to. All right, so we're gonna root down into this left hand. And you could even do that on a block. And we're gonna start to find a little twist. And I'm gonna give you a couple of options here. Let's see, I'm gonna spin this way. So you can just do classic twist here. So opening up to the right, you could keep your right hand on your right hip. If you wanted to extend that top arm up, you're welcome to do that. We've gotten into the hip flexors a lot. We've done a little bit of back bending. If you want to play with bending this left knee and then reaching back, finding the foot. So we've been in this configuration, albeit in different places a few different times. So that might feel really nice as well. So I'm gonna lazy Susan it back to the center. So again, lots of options. You can be in this little kind of lizard pose with a grabbing the foot. You might just be finding a classic twist here, wrapping those left ribs to the right, maybe extending that top arm up.
If you do have the foot and you need a little more in your body, again, you can come down onto your forearm or forearm on the block. Keep pressing to the inner edge of your right foot. Couple more breaths here. Maybe you're looking up over that right shoulder. Good, deep inhale. So if you've got that foot, release it down. And let's upright ourselves here. As you inhale, Anjali-asana, crescent pose. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Plant here, curl those left toes under. Pull back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your right knee. All right, so you can pad up that back knee if you need to. We're gonna find a little twist here. So rooting down into your right palm, left hand to left hip, leaning this left shoulder back. You can stay there like that. You can extend that top arm up if that feels good. If you want to play with bending the right knee and then grabbing the foot, you can do that as well. And then still finding the twist, still pressing to the inner edge of that left foot. And you are welcome again to come down to your forearm. You could even do that in the twist if you have that in your body. Breath smooth and steady. Intense stretch on this right hip flexor quadricep. Good, lengthening forward through your chest. Good, one more deep inhale. And then exhale. We just make our way out here. All right, curl those right. Oh, I almost cheated us. We're gonna inhale, come up into Anjali-asana. Oh my God, I would have screwed up your entire weekend. The world would have stopped. Probably not. I rescued it. All right, plant hands, curl right toes under, step back, downward facing dog. Okay, so we are ready for this. So let's inhale, shift forward into our plank pose. Come to your knees, nice and slow to the count of 5. Elbows bend, they squeeze in. One final little chaturanga here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. So tops of the feet press. Find that Sphinx pose again. So pressing into your forearms, shoulders over your elbows. All right, so we're gonna angle this left hand in. We're gonna bend this right knee and we're gonna reach back. Find the outer edge of the foot and then start to pull in any amount. If you're super tight, if you're doing this at home, you're gonna use a strap around the foot. You could just even hang out here, but you could use a strap to help you get in. You don't have a strap, a tie, a belt. We'll do the trick. The hardest part is just getting arranged. And you do want to make sure that that left hip, or right hip flexor rather, is pressing down and not lifting up. So that might mean that you need to give yourself a little more space. If your hand is angled in, if this is easier in your body, if you're feeling okay, you can bring it back to where it was, to that like half Sphinx pose. And then maybe start to press into that palm, bringing that arm to straight. Press the shoulder heads back. And then maybe just bring your gaze up. You just imagine that you're gonna cradle your head in your foot. Believe it or not, there's probably some people that can do that. I think they're missing vertebra in their spine. All right, we're gonna exhale out of this. If you've got the foot, release on down. Find your Sphinx pose. Shoulders press back, anchoring into your pubic bone, your hip bones, feet really active, legs really active. Angle this right arm in. Good. Bend your left knee. Reach back, grab the outer edge of the foot. Good, and then try to square your shoulders here. Try to keep both hip plates pressing evenly. Again, using your strap if you need to. We're gonna have some open hip flexors this weekend. Staying here is great. If you're a little more flexible, you can bring your right arm back into that just classic position for a Sphinx pose, and then maybe press in to that hand, bringing that arm any amount of straight. Keep breathing. You might feel a little stretch in your knee as you do this. It's okay as long as it's not bad sensation. All right, and then maybe just bring your gaze slightly up. You don't have to throw your head back, but just look up. Lengthen back through your right toes. Deep inhale. Exhale. Lower down. So bring your arms by your side. Come onto your forehead. Knees bend. Keep feet about hips distance apart. Grab the outer edges of both feet. All right, just one of these, Dhanurasana, bow pose. As we inhale, we lift up legs, extend chest forward, kick the hands into the feet. Maybe you rock forward and back a little bit here. If you just had like pancakes and bacon, probably not this early, but if you did, don't do this, don't rock. All right, one more deep breath. And then exhale. Oh, release down, make a pillow with your hands, turn your cheek to one side, waggle your hips back and forth. And then turn your cheek to the other side. All right, so we're just gonna press ourselves up to a seat. As you press up to that tabletop, maybe you wanna take a round or two of cat-cow. In fact, holding the cat stretch for a breath or two will be a little more released in that lower back. So feel free to stay there. And then we're gonna eventually come to our Dandasana. So our seated staff pose, I do recommend sitting up on something if you know that you tend to be a little tighter and it's hard to sit tall. All right. So shoulders land over your hips. Feet are active. It's as though you're standing on them, even though we're seated here. All right. And then maybe you'll want your strap. So we're going to bring the sole of our right foot to the inside of our left thigh. So kind of like a little seated tree pose here. We're going to find our Janu Shirshasana. So there's a little twist in this pose. So just bring your torso to face towards that extended left leg. If you're using your strap, you can take it around your foot here. It's nice. It reminds you to keep that foot flexed. And then if you're a little tighter, but still feeling an intense stretch, you can stay upright a little easier. If you know that you're a little more open, you're going to go ahead and reach the arms up, find a little more twist. And then exhale, keep that length in the spine, keep a little cobra pose on your upper body. Fold in and you can just let the hands kind of fall where they may. Some of us are able to grab that left wrist with our right fingers. And then that's nice. Again, it just gives you a little leverage to start to wrap those right ribs towards your left thigh. So let's find our breath again. And in fact, let's start to let the inhale get a little longer. So maybe inhaling to a 6 or a 7 count. And then exhaling to that same number. So we begin to shift gears after our more vigorous part of the practice. I'm just noticing how you feel. So we've done a lot in the hamstrings as well. So maybe this pose is feeling a little easier than it sometimes does in your body. And maybe not. That's also okay. From here, let's inhale, start to roll on up, and we're going to find a nice little twist here. So right hand comes to the outside of that right thigh, and there's space between your leg and your foot here. So root into your sit bones again, flex those left toes, couple of options, hugging right thigh with your left arm. Maybe you want to get in a little deeper. So as you come into this twist, we want to keep this length in the spine, but we're kind of wringing out the spine as though it were a washcloth. Notice if you start to fall to the outer edge of that right foot, press to the inner edge, press shoulder heads back, and then just play with your gaze. Just find a place that feels good. You might move towards looking out over that right shoulder. Pressing evenly into both sit bones, finding that evenness of your breath. Good, one more deep inhale. Good, exhale, come back to center. Extend your right leg to straight, and we take our second side. So left knee bend, sole of the foot to the inside of the right thigh, strap over that right foot, find a little twist wherever you're at. Folding in Jana Shirshasana, thinking length. So always a little back bend in these forward folds. It's like counterintuitive, but it helps us to keep that integrity in our spine. Sometimes we actually even get a better stretch, even though we might not be folding as deep into that leg as we might think we should. And just getting curious about the sensations happening in your body, even if they're intense. Noticing, this is like one of the biggest gifts of our yoga practice, is this attention that we give to our physical shape and even to our inner world. So this all starts to transfer. We start to notice things, and then we can make little adjustments and little changes. And we start to discover too that everything is always in flux. Nothing stays the same. It's always changing. We're witnessing that right now as things start to green up and come alive. The bugs wake up and the lizards wake up. Good. From here, start to roll on up, left hand to the outside of that knee, just drawing it in. There's a little space here, so you feel really even on your sit bones. And then your choice, hugging, or maybe taking that elbow to the outside. Just get a little leverage, press shoulder heads back. Keep those right toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then maybe start to bring your gaze out over that left shoulder, or moving in that direction. Inhale, try to get taller. Breathe into all of the spaces. It's tricky when you're twisted. And then as you exhale and empty out, maybe you can twist in just like micromillimeter more. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind. Extend your left leg to straight, and then give the legs a little shake out. And we're gonna make our way into our Shavasana. So as you come onto your back, give your knees a squeeze into your chest. You can rock a little bit from side to side. And then you decide how you wanna end here. So classic Shavasana, legs extended. Some of us might need a little support underneath the knees. You can also kind of take this constructive relaxation pose. So feet wide, knees knock in towards each other. And then completely melt in here, completely surrender, soak up these final moments. Just set the tone for the rest of your weekend ahead, the rest of your day ahead. Shavasana. Good. Next inhale is deeper. Open your mouth, let the breath go. And then just bringing some gentle movement back to your body, wiggling fingers, toes, stretching arms up overhead. Staying soft and gentle, roll to one side or the other. And then you're just going to use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. You're going to check in, you're going to notice how you feel. You're going to soak up this space, this ease, this strength you've created in your body. You're going to soak up this richness and depth of breath. And last but not least, maybe one of the best things is how the head space is shifted. So hopefully feeling a little quieter, calmer, a little happy. Promise to take this feeling with you the rest of the day. Finally, just bring your palms together at your heart. Bow your head with love and gratitude.